Basement level vibes with another one, straight up blackness. Aye, who tell the truth? Mark Benskop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benskop, radio station is the fruit. Mark Benskop, straight up from the root. Mark Benskop, who tell the truth? Mark Benskop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benskop, radio station is the fruit. Mark Benskop, straight up from the root. Mark Benskop, I do it for the love, him not do it for no money. Straight up, him attack, educating everybody. Big up my friends and big up my family. Turn on the radio, catch the vibes, it's integrity. Straight up, Benskop stands for unity. One people, one nation, one destiny. Free up the truth in the air, even the blind can see. The deaf can hear, the dumb can talk, the cripple can walk. Boom. Who tell the truth? Mark Benskop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benskop, radio station is the fruit. Mark Benskop, straight up from the root. Mark Benskop, who tell the truth? Mark Benskop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benskop, radio station is the fruit. Mark Benskop, straight up from the root. Mark Benskop, we have to gather wrong, grab a seat and sit down, pay attention. Education, liberation, we have to stand strong. Benskop upon the radio, lively up the program. Everybody call somebody and let them turn and tune and on the radio and catch the boom song. We boom it up already, we have to boom it up again. Expose and reveal him. Who tell the truth? Mark Benskop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benskop, radio station is the truth. Mark Benskop, straight up from the root. Mark Benskop, who tell the truth? Mark Benskop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benskop, radio station is the truth. Mark Benskop, straight up from the root. Mark Benskop, I do it for the love, him not do it for no money. Straight up, him attack, educating everybody. Big up my friends and big up my family. Turn on the radio, catch the vibes, it's integrity. Straight up, Benskop stands for unity. One people, one nation, one destiny. Free up the truth in the air, even the blind can see. The deaf can hear, the dumb can talk, the cripple can walk. Boom. Who tell the truth? Mark Benskop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benskop, radio station is the fruit. Mark Benskop.
Yeah, my name is Jasmine Caldata Francis Vietnam, and since 1965 I become a voter, and I always place my X next to the cup. And what they are doing today, I can't take it. So I have no more vote to give to PPP anymore. I'm not going to vote anymore no more. If they have to lose by one vote, they're losing it by data. I have none.
But you know, when I'm running like this, it means I'm a bit late, right? Welcome to Straight Up. My name is Mark Benskop, and we are going to rock and roll just for about 52 minutes or so. Let me just say goodnight to all of you in the audience. I can't call all of your names, but it's okay. What's happening with the folks out in Linden? Remember just a couple days ago, some of those guys from Linden, they're rushed down because Mark Phillips, the guy who is squatting there as prime minister, he's squatting, mind you, right? And the PPP regime, they say that they don't like squatters. They're against squatters. They are squatting. That is why, that is what they're doing. They're squatting. Everybody's going against them. Everybody's running against them. Remember at his last press conference, his so-called press conference, Tanti Merle said, at his last press conference, mind you, Tanti Merle said that everybody around the world were against the coalition and said that they did this and they did that about the elections, right? Everybody. But now it looks like everybody who were for them in 2020, that's according to Tanti Merle, everybody is now against them. Trust me, you're going to see more of that coming out. The former United Kingdom, UK High Commissioner to Guyana, said that he was basically surprised. Well, that's not surprise to us, right? That Irfan Ali would go and mingle with dictators, mingle with that dictator of Venezuela. That's the former UK ambassador, Greg Quinn, High Commissioner Greg Quinn, who said that. Greg Quinn said that. All right, so Jack Dale doesn't want to tell you guys that every one of these folks who he claims that were with them are now against them. We're seeing it. Every single day, we're seeing it. Every single day, we're seeing it. It's right there. You can't miss it. If you miss it, it means something wrong. Something wrong with you. There was somebody in the audience yesterday, and that person in the audience yesterday, last night, for some reason was being a bit abusive to my guest last night. That is a young man, a young shadow minister of agriculture, Vince Roy Jordan. Vince Roy Jordan apparently said maninja. I ended the program last night on that. Some person named Essequiban, not Essequibian, but Essequiban, actually was making mockery of young Vince Roy Jordan. And something during the course of the day, passed through my head and say, you are making mockery of a guy who is a Guyanese from the countryside. Everybody said manin, neighbor, manin. And the guy said maninja, oh maninja, all manner of things, right? And Essequiban, be looking for him, her, or whomever, we don't know. But I suspect Essequiban. We know it could be a blogger from Freedom House. It could be, who knows, right? And so what was the reason, though? What was the purpose of laughing that young man last evening, Essequiban? When you have a guy, who is installed as the so-called president of Guyana, cannot speak, cannot pronounce words, embarrass the nation, and all these manner of things, and you come in and making yourself a paku by the guy said, maninja. I mean, come on, right? When every Thursday you have a paku, the butcher from Unity, as Lincoln Lewis usually say, the butcher from Unity. So the butcher from Unity sits at his so-called press conference and he pronounces words and sometimes we don't even know the words, right? Like parliament. What is parliament? Come on, guys, tell me, what is parliament? We go to parliament and all sort of different green dongs, wrong English, all sort of things. And then you come in here and trying to, we watching you, you're going to get a donkey tonight. We watching you. Laughing at the young man. Oh man, give the young man a break. But why he saying maninja? Well, I'm gonna say maninja. The people who are maninjas for Guyana government right now are thieves, are vagabonds, are hooligans. That is what they are. But yet them are maninja. They get maninja for agricultural sector. They get maninja for the bad maninjas. Bad maninjas. I don't know how come they end up in parliament. Right. Good night to all of you guys. What is happening in your neck of the woods? I know. Oh, mind you, tomorrow morning, bright and early as they say, right? Bright and early. Those of you who are in Brooklyn, bright and early tomorrow morning at the Waterfall Lounge or whatever, Fall Lounge or whatever lounge. That is opposite the hills. And y'all remember the hills. Oh my gosh. All over again, guys. Y'all got to save y'all money. Y'all got to keep y'all money. All over again. People ears hard. Bad. And so tomorrow morning, they invite Irfan Ali again. But you know what they're saying to you guys in Brooklyn? To hell with you guys. That's what they're saying. It's like they don't give a rat's arse about you guys at all. At all. And so they want to show you guys that they're big and bad. So instead of him going to the hills, he may stop by the hills. Who knows? Who knows? But what for sure, there's a meeting. They're having breakfast with him tomorrow at some place called Waterfall Lounge, right opposite the hill. I don't know if it's the same owner, said to be the same. But Rickford Burke, our executive producer, is trying to get in touch with Rickford Burke. He sent a message to us and say he's busy. Tell Ben Shop I'm busy, but we're giving Rickford 2 minutes. 2 minutes. We're giving Rickford 2 minutes. That's what I said to our executive producer, to come on straight up and talk to us about this situation. We're giving Rickford Burke 2 minutes. Anything over 2 minutes, that's it. He's not going to be on the show. 2 minutes. That's what I just said to our executive producer. 2 minutes. Oops, there he is already. There he is. Rickford Burke is with us. Rickford.
You're bigging up yourself, all right.
Our executive producer was able to find you in less than 2 minutes, which is good.
Less than 30 seconds.
Less than 30 seconds indeed. Rickford, before we get to this here, lots of things happening in Guyana. But before we get to this, Rickford, I want you and our listeners to take a look at what's happening right now in Linden.
Good night. All right, good night, baby. I need to go home now. Well, I think we know what the town clerk and them are up to and what they will do. So, you know.
Right now, Miss Vanessa Kisoon, Councillor Vanessa Kisoon is out there. Rickford, lots of problems in Linden. The flooding. Nobody has gotten compensation. Bad drainage, bad work, bad everything. The racist PPP regime has turned a blind eye on the people of Linden. You're not surprised, are you, Rickford?
Absolutely not. I mean, that's the PPP. If you're not part of their constituency, you don't get government services whenever they're in power.
And it is so sad because just a couple of days ago, Mark Phillips, who is squatting there as Prime Minister, invited some folks from Linden to travel from Linden all the way to his office, but yet nothing. No government minister, no official, no Irfan Ali is in Linden. It shows how much contempt they have for the people of Linden, right?
It's a talk shop. It's a talk shop. He just wanted to demonstrate that he was doing something under this one so-called one guy in a banner. And we know that that was just a facade. The PP government will never do anything for Linden. As a matter of fact, I have a copy of their development plan. I can probably share it with you. And that development...
Whose development plan?
The PPP government's development
The
plan.
PPP doesn't have no development plan. Everything is
Well,
under development.
there's one for the Indian communities. Every single village or town or region that they have this plan for, it's their constituents. None for Linden, nothing for Georgetown. As a matter of fact, they skipped Georgetown and they're looking at developing like Annandale or Lusignan into like a town. Then they skipped and went all the way to Region 5 and Region 6 and Region 2 and Region 3. That's their development plan. They have absolutely no plans to develop the people, to build infrastructure, to cater to human development, healthcare, education, housing, water. They have no plans for regions where Afro-Guyanese live.
You know, and I'm glad that you've mentioned that, but the reality on the ground, though, is that even lots of those predominantly PPP support areas are being underdeveloped, are being ignored by this corrupt PPP regime. But maybe this plan here, this so-called plan, is basically to brainwash those community members of those communities to say, look, elections coming around the corner. Oh, we have a plan for you guys. Meanwhile, they've ignored the people of Blackbush Polder, whether Leslie Holden, Maibikuri, Jihan, and so forth. They've ignored them. They've ignored the people of Little India in Corriverton, Little Africa, ignored all the villages, 43, 47, 48, 63, and all of those villages, Port Morant, Mississippi, Lettikeni, Bloomfield, all of those villages are ignored. The people at Albion and so forth. And the point that I'm making, Rickford, is that this so-called development plan that we're hearing about, right, might just be another propaganda. The same propaganda that they were spreading during the course of the 2020 elections. They are going to they're going to legalize a small amount of marijuana. That's not done. They haven't addressed that as yet. They are going to have, free tuition at the University of Guyana. That is not done yet at all. But look, this is just a propaganda plan, just like the free bridge crossing and all manner of things. I don't know. Rickford, I'm just getting tired of these pacus in government. Go right ahead. Take it over.
Yes, so I'm looking at this so-called plan that they have. And in Region 3, they're developing Lenora. In Region 4, they're developing Cummins Lodge. Cummins Lodge in Region, they want to do a modern town in, make Cummins Lodge Ogle area there a modern town. I'm looking at, then they want to develop this city called Silica City, which is their little Dubai that they're planning.
That's on the Linden Soosdijk Highway that they have
Yes.
a 50-year plan where they're bulldozing people's land, people who have been there for 30, 40 years. They've already taken away people's land up the Linden Soosdijk Highway and given it to friends and cronies. That is exactly what's happening. But here's my question.
And in Region 6, Palmyra.
Yeah, one second, Rickford, please. Stick a pin on Region 6. You might be talking about Palmyra area right off as soon as you cross the bridge and so forth, right? But before we get to that, Parika for 23 years, the PPP destroyed Parika. They couldn't do anything to develop, as they would say, develop Parika. But Parika has had its best years under the coalition. Well, let's go to Cummins Lodge. That's the Ogle side, going to the university and so forth. The PPP has not done anything to that area for the longest while. So all of these areas that they suddenly want to develop, they have ignored for 23 plus years. And I say this, shame on the PPP regime. Talk about Region 6, Palmyra and all them things.
Well, I think Palmyra is in Region 5, actually. They have it under Region 5. And
No,
so they want to develop a modern town.
Palmyra is in Region 6. As soon as you cross the Berbice River Bridge, you head into Palmyra. And so that vast land
That's
that they
true.
have
Yes,
there,
that's true.
the vast land
That's
that
true.
they have there, they've already given it away to their friends and cronies and family members and so forth. So they're talking about building a stadium for about 10 to 15,000 people, gas station, hotels, and all these things. And almost 99% of those are basically friends and cronies and are of one ethnic persuasion. But as you walk
Region 5, they'll build a marine walk in Marconi.
the lands were given away to their friends and cronies. And as you make a left, Rickford, that is heading up the quarantine, number 19, and those areas there. Talk to us. What other plans they have?
Yeah, you have the document. I sent it to you, Mark. So in Region 5,
I don't have the document. It is something they've been floating around for a while. So we already know their game plan. Why do you think, Mr. Burke, that Jagdeo didn't want that Berbice River Bridge to be built closer to Stanleytown that would have been able to develop Stanleytown, develop New Amsterdam, and so they bypassed that and put the bridge at the mouth of the Berbice River that leads into Palmyra and goes straight up.
So they could cut out New Amsterdam from the economic development of the country. That's the PPP. The PPP will never develop any Afro-Guyanese community in Guyana. That's a fact. They have an opportunity to develop Linden. They could put a port in Linden. No, they're putting it in Region 6. They're putting a port in Region 6. They're building a marine walk in Region 5. What happened to Linden? They could make Linden into a grand town. As far as I'm concerned, when I worked for President Hoyt, Stanley Ming, and Eric Phillips and some others had come up with a plan to put the new international airport right where Berbice meets Essequibo and Demerara, right behind Linden. They said that's one of the flattest areas in the country. And they scrapped that. Why? Because it was a benefit of Linden.
The Rockstone area that would have given easy access from Region 10 into those areas, Bartica and Essequibo and other parts and so forth. And so removing, it's called the Plan Project 21, I believe, with Stanley Ming and Eric Phillips, that was developed during Mr. Hoyt's tenure as opposition leader. And the PPP has taken that plan and they are running with it right now, albeit in just predominantly PPP support areas. Mr. Burke.
Even the new road that they built, Heroes Highway, that's a highway that's developed that design was developed under President Hoyt.
And that's a road, actually. We are accustomed to highways. That's just like basically they've built a backdown road. It's falling apart right now. Can we talk about anything good that they have done? All we have mentioned thus far is destruction upon destruction upon destruction, wasting money, billions of dollars that will be going into their pockets and their friends' pockets, the Nani, the Bauji, the Aji, and the Chacha and the Chachi pockets. That's what's happening.
Well, Mark, that's their concept of development. If you listen to Barry Jagdeo, a little road here, a little road there, I fix a seawall, I put up some lights on a road, and we build a couple buildings, and we RG and we PUA and so own them buildings, Attorney General and this body, Minister of Finance. That's what they're calling development. Their concept of development is a saucepan. You can't even say saucepan. That's a saucepan. That little thing with us put the food in and so that's their concept of development. A little teacup vision. They don't have a broad vision of the country for the next 20 years. They can't do that. They don't have the capacity. They don't have the intellectual capacity to conceptualize anything like that. No.
And you're correct on that. It's Aji and Aja. Pua has Aji and Aja. But good night to all of you if you're now joining us. Rickford, we already know the corruption. It's just massive corruption that's happening in Guyana. And look at what the people of Linden, some folks from Linden have messaged me and is saying it is a shame and a disgrace as to what is happening there right now. Shame and disgrace. They are basically punishing those people in Linden. And I'm calling on the people of Linden to possibly shut the tongue down once and once again and demand what is rightfully yours. If Palmyra is going to get billions of dollars, then Linden deserves billions of dollars as well. Rickford, you're checking your messages and all these. I bet you're getting some more stuff from that plan, or people from Linden messaging you, or somebody from the
somebody cursing about some of the plan.
Oh, they're cursing about the plan?
Somebody's telling me I'm misrepresenting the plan.
Yeah, well, let them curse. Let them curse. It's okay. It's a dead plan. It's a plan that has been plagiarized. That is what's happening right now. Rickford, I want you to take a look at this video, and we'll discuss it. Police walked into a church, stopped the music, arrested the musician, arrested the pastor, placed the musician on $20,000 bail. I've noticed that the CGID has issued a press release. Well, every day CGID is issuing press releases because every single day bad things are happening in Guyana.
Exactly.
Let's get your take on this, church.
Exactly. Mark, this is a very serious situation. That's an international atrocity. Nowhere in the world except Russia and China and probably North Korea, you will find police being sent into a church to arrest the people praying and singing because they're praying and singing and playing music too loud. It's an atrocity. It's a serious violation of their rights and the rights of the church. And to this day, the People's Progressive Party hasn't apologized. The Ghana Police Force hasn't apologized. I hope the church will sue the police. And the Ghana Police Force has no credibility because they issued a statement denying that they disrupted the service when there is evidence. This is Clifford Hicken. Absolutely zero credibility. No wonder the Ghana Police Force images in tatters. In the face of a video, several videos, in the face of the bail receipt, the police lied and said they did not disrupt the service. No one was charged. Complete lie. And let me say this. They would never dare do that to a Hindu temple. Never. But they could do it to Christians because they don't have any respect for Christians. They did that to show that the police has all this power from the government. And the people, and you notice, Mark, not one other religious organization spoke out. The religious leaders in Guyana are a disgrace to their congregants. All of them. They're a disgrace. I don't know what purpose they serve. They can't be following Jesus. Because I know the Bible. And Jesus was a social activist, a social justice activist. So who are they following? That they see a church invaded by police, arrested several members of the church because they were singing. Because they were singing. And this man, Baharali or whatever his name was, who filed the complaint, has been harassing the church to the point where the government had the audacity to send the EPA to test the decimal levels of the sound coming from the church. I don't see them doing that by sleeping or wherever their people are. But it's a disrespect to Christians because most of the people in that PP government are Hindus. And I'm not attacking any Hindus. I'm stating a fact. They don't believe that Christians have a right to worship. And so they're sending the police. The police is their proxy. They send the police to attack you. They send the police to attack me. They send the police to attack Melly Mel. They send the police to charge election workers. They send the police against each other. They send the police against opposition MPs. Everything is the police. They send the police to kill the gentleman from Essequibo Coast, Boston. The police is their new death squad.
The police
Clifton
killed
Pickin is the
Henry.
new head of the PPP death squad. They're doing the work of the dirty work of the PPP, the kind of police force.
You know, Rickford, and that is so true. The corrupt PPP, the corrupt police force headed by a man who is squatting there as professor in his classroom. Two professors oftentimes speak about the corruption in the police force, and the man who's squatting, that is Paul Slow and Mr. Conway. Every single week they talk about that. And so something has got to change with regards to what is happening in Guyana. But Rickford, I want us to go to Brooklyn. With all of these things that are happening in Guyana, corruption, racism, discrimination, and police brutality, police persecution of individuals, why is it that some folks, especially in Brooklyn, feel that it is okay? It is something that people should feel comfortable and feel happy about inviting the people who are destroying Guyana, who are discriminating against people, mainly folks of African descent and so forth, that these folks at the Waterfall Lounge, right opposite the Hills Hotel or whatever you call Hills Restaurant or whatever it is, why do they feel that it is okay to invite Irfan Ali for breakfast again? Lots of people are saying that this is disrespectful. Talk to us about tomorrow's protest.
But it's the same as the owner is the same as the owner of the hills. I think it's a demonstration of contempt for the community. Of course, everybody has their own right to host and invite anybody to their establishment. The point we're making is that right here in Brooklyn, the Guyana government has police officers trailing Melly Mel, trying to get intelligence on you, following me to my house, coming to my house with guns and to threaten me and my family. And these people have said nothing. They haven't said anything about the killing of the Henry boys that the PPP protected. The PPP and the Guyana police force protected their killers. They haven't said anything about Orrin Boston, who was shot and killed by the PPP death squad. They haven't said anything about Kevin Andrews, who was shot and killed by death squad members of the Guyana police force. They haven't said anything about Quindon Bacchus, who was shot and killed by rogue, probably death squad officers of the Guyana police force. Two, they have not said anything about the over 1,400 young black men that were killed by Bar Jagdev's death squads. They have not said anything. They haven't said anything about the defunding of Ipadaje and black organizations like AGDA. They have not said anything about the Minister of Youth, Sport, and Culture defending an East Indian man, member of the PPP, who told the principal of the Baroque School of Arts that it's stupid black people like him got a country in the state it is in. They have not said anything about that. They have not said anything about the government refusing to pay the teachers because most of them are Afro-Guyanese. Same thing with the nurses. They have not spoken out against harassment of GCOM workers, harassment of Afro-Guyanese member of parliament. They have not even spoken about what's going on in New York, where the PPP is sending gunmen after their opponents. They haven't spoken out against the Attorney General of Guyana that is threatening Guyanese Americans, threatening their constitutional rights in America, that he is going to extradite them to Guyana if they say anything bad about the government. They have not said anything about that. But they're hosting these people in our community when they're threatening our lives. I can confirm that police sources came to my house with information, NYPD, where a government employee from the Guyana police force approached someone known to them, asking if they could put out a hit on me. This is not something that's made up. It's in the records. You have the Attorney General on tape talking about getting somebody to kill me. And they haven't said anything about it. So when we speak out about them hosting these terrible, evil people in our community, and asking Afro-Guyanese who they disrespect in Guyana to come out. It's an insult to the community. And we hope that persons will come out tomorrow and picket and protest against Orphan Ali, who has blood. Everyone in the PPP has the blood of Afro-Guyanese, descendants of the slaves who built their country, on their hands. They have blood on their hands. And we must hold them accountable. I noticed Barry Jagdev said a few days ago that they will have this inquiry into the so-called death squad killings. And he said everybody who was killed were jailbreakers. So you had 1,400 people who broke out of jail, according to Barry Jagdev. But he must know, because he's the one that orchestrated their killing. But the reason they're doing that now is because they're sure that they probably get rid of most of the evidence. They probably got rid of most of the evidence.
So you are correct. All of the evidence, almost all of the evidence, have disappeared, and the witnesses have been killed. And so Jagdeo is comfortable now, knowing very well that there is no evidence, and maybe he got rid of the evidence that Sashaw's killing, a sitting minister under his government, that for 18 plus years he did nothing. He never called for an investigation, and people are asking why. But Rickford, let's get back to this. Sorry about that. Let's get back to this this event, having breakfast and breaking bread with the evil members of the PPP regime, evil members of the PPP regime. And so tomorrow morning is going to be right there at this so-called waterfall. If you are in Brooklyn or wherever you are and you can stop by to protest in your numbers, tomorrow is the day for that.
Yep, at 6:30 a.m. we'll be there. The breakfast starts at 7 a.m. in the morning. A lot of people are confused. They're asking if it's a mistake. No, it's 7 a.m. and we're going to gather there from 6:30 a.m. for the protest.
So, absolutely. So from 6:30 a.m., I've noticed some folks in the audience are saying that they are going to be there. Francine Cruz is asking, I think Francine is going to get a donkey tonight. Is abusing out and cussing up and all. And Francine, will you be there? Now, if you are in Brooklyn, even if you're going to work for 10 o'clock or whatever, be out there, guys. We will carry it live right here on 107.1 FM. Be out there tomorrow and go out there, not just about 4 or 5 of you guys, you know. I wish 500 of you guys can turn out. 500 of you guys tomorrow morning. Don't tell me every night you tune into whether it's this program, whether it's Dr. David Hines' program, whether it's Kadaki's program, whether it's Wayne's program on Saturdays or other programs, Duncan as well. Don't tell me that you guys don't know what the problems are, or even Rickford Burke's conversation. Don't tell me that you don't know and that you're going to allow Irfan Ali to walk into Brooklyn as though everything is okay. I'm saying, I know how and where I'm spending my money. And I can't spend my money with these sort of places. Maybe we go right back into boycott again. But Mr. Burke, let us talk on these people being as presumptuous as they are to invite these vagabonds into the Brooklyn community again. Haven't they learned their lesson?
Well, it's self-interest. I mean, the government is paying them for this. And so this is what the government is using the oil money for, to throw the people's money around like if it belongs to the PPP or Barjak. They were Ali personally, and they're giving out money. They give out money for the carnival. They give out money. And the funny thing about it is this. When the PPP, what I want these business owners to know is that when the PPP gives them a little pittance of money to host a breakfast or to have a carnival truck or whatever it is, and they leave, it is Afro-Guyanese that have to go and support their business. Not PPP supported from Queens or the Bronx or Schenectady, New York, will come to Brooklyn to buy food at the Hills or to buy or to have or to go to a party at Waterfall Lounge or whatever it is. It's black people who they're disrespecting that have to do that. And so I want them to understand that the people who are supporting their businesses are Afro-Guyanese. And the people that the PPP government, Ali and Jagdeo and Nanlal and the others are disrespecting are Afro-Guyanese. And our relatives and friends in Guyana. I want to ask a question, Mark. Since the PPP government came into power, they have done all of these things. There are complaints all over the international community about racism from the government. They have not yet one time met with anybody from AGDA, met with anybody from IPADG, met with anyone from Coffee 260 or whatever the organization name. They have refused to meet with any Afro-Guyanese organization that they perceive to be against them. They only want to run the country for their own East Indian collective. And it can't work. That's why the country is going to be perpetually divided. It is the PPP that is dividing Guyana, the People's Progressive Party that is dividing Guyana. Here's the other thing too. Anytime we expose their racism and criticize and condemn their racism, they say that we are racist. We're racist. And it is the same attitude Charles Ramsey had. How dare you complain about our East Indian brethren who uttered racial slurs to you? No, that's not the image we want of someone in the government. You must subject yourselves under the cloak of East Indian supremacy. PPP, that is, PPP, ethnic supremacy. And that's why he was so disrespectful to Ivor Tom, because they believe that black people mustn't complain when they try to subjugate us or marginalize us, or when they commit acts of racial discrimination against us. We must stay quiet and accept it because we're second-class citizens. They want to drive the country back into slavery, and we must not accept it. We must rebel just like our forefathers rebelled against any form of discrimination or any form of slavery.
You know, Mr. Tom, very disrespectful against Mr. Tom. Mr. Tom has gotten a bad taste of what this racist PPP regime is about. And I hope that Mr. Tom will join all of us who are now exposing or who have been exposing the PPP regime in terms of discrimination, in terms of racism and so forth. And so, Mr. Tom, we welcome your voice. We welcome your voice. It happened to you. It reached there. We all jumped out. We defended you, and rightly so. We hope that you can join us now in defending others who are experiencing the same that you have experienced.
But Mark, you know what is even worse than the actual act? The government has said nothing. The minister wasn't made to apologize. Nobody from the government has apologized. The government has no comment. It therefore means to me that they agree with Charles Ramsey, and they're only acting out of embarrassment and say, hey, Mr. Tom, go back, we overlook this thing, it's a little bad and so on, go back to work. But they have refused to condemn the racism
they're
practiced by their members.
They condone these things. That is what they live on, racism. They live on racism, they survive on corruption and murders, assassinations, and so forth. That's the PPP. And those folks
just
in Brooklyn, as you've said,
I happen to know
folks in Brooklyn who are getting money from the PPP, we can just say it is alleged and it is the perception that they are getting money for these sort of events. That is the perception. That's the allegation that they are getting money. They're getting some sort of benefit for this.
Mark, it's not an allegation. The government is paying for the government is paying for the breakfast.
Whatever those benefits
through the Guyana Consulate.
Yep. Whatever those benefits are. But let me say, Rickford, this is what has to happen tomorrow morning. This is what has to happen.
Right across Ghana, when the ministers of Granger or Nagamutu come here after the 21st of March, you say to them, right across Ghana, when the ministers of Granger or
whenever operator gets his act together, this is exactly what has to happen. And we're having a slight technical difficulty. It happens sometimes. But Rickford, this protest tomorrow morning, what time people are going to start out here? From what time? 6 o'clock?
Say to them, you're illegal. Free up the country. You're undemocratic. They're going to face a different situation right across the country.
Instance, when they come to
the communities, whether it is in Berbice or Essecubo and Linden or in South Georgetown or Agricola or in Ennore or Port Morant, the people of Guyana should treat them as illegal. I said they should walk behind them, chase them.
Chase them out. Chase them out of Brooklyn tomorrow. Rickford, I noticed somebody in the audience saying that they're telling me that Forbes, good night. Forbes Fraser is saying, Mark, the man is an artist. So because he's an artist, he can't speak out, right? Anybody speaks out. Pastor, Pandit, and Meiji and all these sort of things could speak out. So not because he's an artist mean he can't speak out.
Well, Mark, that's the problem in Guyana.
He speaks out about and try to divert attention every Thursday. And he's a con artist, right? So he's a con artist and he speak out. This guy's an artist. He should speak out now too. Mr. Burke, go ahead.
Well, that's the problem in Guyana. Certain people think that they don't. It's not their calling to speak out, even when they're treated badly, even when they're abused, even when there are atrocities committed against them, they don't speak out, and that's the problem. Most people in Guyana prefer to be abused and stay quiet because they're scared. And I empathize with them to some extent because people have been killed, people have been shot at. Look what happened in Lusignan. They went and give compensation to the market vendors. Why? Because they are East Indians and they did not even go one time to visit the family of Kingdom Backers. They didn't even offer $1 compensation for the killing of Kingdom Backers. This government, whether you like it or not, is an ethnocracy. They're only for their own East Indian supporters and a few black house slaves. And yes, Freddie Kissoon and Ravi Dev, I am saying house slaves because they sit there and they see Afro-Guyanese, which supposedly is their part of their constituents, are being abused. And they say nothing because they want to remain in good favor with the racists in the PPP. And I will respond to them because I know that they spoke about me yesterday. Extreme. They say I'm an extremist. And why am I an extremist? Because I speak for the rights and speak for the rights of Afro-Guyanese and speak out against racism. Just imagine among certain East Indian leaders in Guyana from the PPP, it is extremist to defend the integrity and decency and human dignity of Afro-Guyanese. That's what these racists in the PPP think. We are extreme to tell them stop the discrimination, stop the racism. They think they're entitled to be racist against Afro-Guyanese. We're not accepting this. This time in a long time, you can't throw your appanjat at us and think that we're going to take it. No, I will go to my grave fighting for the rights of all people, but especially for the rights of Afro-Guyanese. No apologies made.
Rickford, I think you take these people on a little too much, the likes of Arabi Dev. It's good to confront them, yes. But who cares whether they think somebody's a racist?
They're speaking for the wider society. They are the ambassadors for the silent ones.
They need to take a look into the mirror of Freddie Kissoon. By the way, anyways, don't mention what almost happened to him at Brigham Lockup when he cried like a little baby all night. He crying. I should have let him by. Anyways, that's another thing. So don't take these guys on, Rickford. We got work to do, right? Look at what they did to this magistrate, and it's perfectly fine. But yet those folks out in Brooklyn, they feel comfortable. They have invited this Paku Irfan Ali. They want to break bread early morning with him in our community there in Brooklyn. But guess what? Those of you who are in Brooklyn, go out tomorrow morning, please. Even if it's half hour, whatever it is, go out with your flag. Go out whether it's the Guyana flag, one people, one nation, one destiny, or a black flag, because things are not hunky-dory in Guyana. Right now, thousands of people in Linden are punishing as a result of the PPP's neglect. People cannot get compensation. Trees fell on people's houses. Do you see any minister out there? Do you see Irfan Ali out there? Well, of course, he's enjoying life in the US. I don't know. Burke.
But Mark, I want to ask the people in Brooklyn who are hosting these people, who say that we shouldn't boycott them, or we shouldn't call on the community to boycott them, or we shouldn't say we will not support their businesses anymore. I want them to justify to us why we must support them when they don't support the advocacy, or demonstrate any support for the advocacy against what is happening to our people, against what is happening to Melly Mel right here, against what's happening to me a couple of blocks away from where our family is going.
You know what, Rickford? Yeah, I hope everything is okay. Take a glass of water. Do like what Jack Gators do, man. Drink something.
So my question: why must we support businesses that condone the people or support the people who attack us, who perpetuate atrocities against us? Why? I want them to answer that question.
Good, and I'll remind you of something, Rickford. Yeah, when you finish drinking your water.
Go ahead, I'm listening.
Thank you. You know, we had these folks, these same people who were inviting these vagabonds into Brooklyn and breaking bread. We had them the first time around. Boycott their businesses, boycott everything. Don't spend your money there. You went a little too soft with them, Rickford. You went a little too soft with them. And I wasn't too happy that you went too soft with them. This time they got to be boycott. Talk about the boycott now, Mr. Burke.
Well, I'm not sure what you mean by being soft. You know, our organization took a position that the organization would not support it. That's pretty tough.
You're not supporting what you said. 1 second, sir. You said you're not supporting the boycott, but people have a right to spend their money wherever they got to spend their money. And you
of course. And I also said that people have a right to boycott.
Boycott. You went soft on them, but not this time around, though. Go ahead.
Well, the point I'm making is that we as an organization take positions, and I, as the head of the organization, have to articulate those positions. And so I articulated the position of the organization. But the point I want to come back to, which is most important, is they're complaining when you or I or anybody else talk about not supporting their businesses. And I want to know why we should, when they are hosting, cuddling, palling around with evil people like Orphan Alley, who is silent in the wake of this racist attack on Ivor Tong, who is silent in the wake of the racist attack on the Amerindian community in Mabaruma, where police officers went in and stopped the service of a church and arrested the musician and the singers. Why it is silent in the wake of them sending police officers to frame Melly Mel's mother and her grandmother? Why it is silent when they're sending armed police officers, or as a matter of fact, sending police officers to New York to acquire illegal firearms to come to threaten me and my family? Why it is silent when they're framing Paul Slow with rape? Because he's speaking out against them. Why are they silent about your unlawful, unjust incarceration? Why? So I'm asking those questions. They want to know why we said what we said. I'm asking those questions of those people. They must answer to the community.
I'm glad that you're asking those questions. And they usually come back with a hypocritical stand. They say, "Oh, Burke, relax yourself." And when they have functions in Brooklyn, we just give you a little roti. We just donate food to functions. That's all. Donate little food to functions. But this is what's going to happen tomorrow morning, guys. And it has got to stop one way or the other. We've got to stop it. Peaceful protest. Expect this.
Take responsibility. Yep. We want you to look out for us. We do not want no segregation. No. We are one people. And if we're going to do it, let's do it together. Because we have respect for you. Thank you.
Have respect for a dictator? Are you kidding me? someone who discriminates against most Guyanese, particularly Guyanese of African descent, shame on those people. But then again, look out for a repeat of this, Rickford.
We don't want you. Because we're excited to see you here. We're coming. Hold on. You got the roti? You got to be kidding me. You got the roti, don't worry. See, oh, Lord. You used to make roti when he was 5. But let me see if he can clap. You got shit.
Let me see if he can clap. Tomorrow morning, they're clapping roti at the so-called waterfall lounge or whatever. They're clapping roti. That is why while they're clapping roti inside, y'all got to be outside clapping roti. And everybody got to clap roti tomorrow in front of this.
Mark is a big charade for the international.
Go ahead, sir.
It's a big charade for the international community and for the politicians in this country. Listen, the PPP government has been in power for 4 years. They have created segregation in the country. They have disrespected every Black organization that doesn't support them. They have disrespected every Black leader. They have used the Ghana police force to criminalize every Afro-Guyanese person that opposes them publicly. Everyone. They've used the Ghana police force for political vengeance. They have taken away funding from Ipadije because Ipadije exposed their racism, corruption, and injustice. Why he doesn't go to meet with Ipadije, which is right in Georgetown? He's never meet with the leaders of Ipadije. Why? He's never meet with the leaders of AGDA. Why? They're right in Georgetown. But he comes to America and he wants to propagate this vacuous one Guyana theme. So he comes here, they can put on a t-shirt that says one Guyana, and for propaganda purposes, go by some Black woman in Brooklyn, right? Because she wants to entertain him and because they're paying money, right? But I want the PPP government by Jabda or Finale. Why haven't they met with the Black organizations? As a matter of fact, they tried to break up Ipadije because Ipadije spoke about them, right? They tried to get a replacement organization. They even wrote the UN to tell the UN, don't recognize Ipadije, recognize their little house slaves and slave catchers that they want to appoint to negate the advocacy of Afro-Guyanese organizations. They think that the entire country must support them. They're an autocratic ethnocracy. They believe in a one-party state. They believe in one ethnicity dominating Guyana. And that's why I call it PPP East Indian supremacy. And not all East Indians, because they even attack East Indians that don't support them and support the opposition. So that's what they want to do. They want to have a PPP one-party ethnic state. Or a state dominated by the ethnicity of the PPP.
Thank you so much. Tomorrow morning, 6 o'clock, right there on Church Avenue, 4703 Church Avenue. It's between Schenectady Avenue and what is it, 49th Street? It's
East 48th Street.
49th, 49th or 48th, 48th Street.
East 48th Street.
And Schenectady Avenue, right on Church Avenue, opposite the Hills. I don't know who still goes there, but it looks as though this time around it's going to be a serious round of boycott heading into the Christmas. A serious.
Y'all wake up early. Go to sleep early tonight. Wake up early. Come out on Church Avenue 6:30, and we're gonna start the protest. We're gonna have a hell of a joyous time protesting against these jagabats.
We will be watching at the businesses that he wants to walk into this time again. We will be watching at those businesses, and it's going to be a rough time when it comes to boycotting. People are going to boycott and boycott. We will be watching those businesses.
And I hope some of the people going into the breakfast would create hell and demand accountability for the killings.
It's not going to happen. They're going to go in there and soft talk. We want peace. We want niceness. And everybody must live in peace. That's just a facade. And then somebody going to come out of some little crack right there in the waterfall and say, oh God, he clapping roti. So while they're clapping roti inside, the people outside must clap roti. Walk with your karahi, walk with your tawa, walk with your stuff, and beat drums and beat saucepan outside and disrupt this so-called breakfast inside this so-called meeting at the waterfall tomorrow. I don't know if they're being paid. I don't know who's being paid, but the perception out there and the allegation is that these people are getting money. We don't know how true that is, mind you. But Mr. Burke, before we go, closing remarks, man. We've got to be out there tomorrow. We will be right here on 107.1 FM. We'll be carrying it live. If I'm in the mood to stop by there and clap my roti right there, I will be doing it. But maybe I'll be clapping roti right here on 107.1 FM. Burke, your closing remarks, please, sir.
Well, I want to say, apart from urging everybody to come out tomorrow at 6:30, tomorrow Wednesday, the 25th of September, at 6:30 at Church Avenue between Schenectady and East 40th Street, I want to talk to the people at home in Guyana. We have to get off of our laurels. The civil society leaders, the religious leaders, the trade unionists, everybody. We cannot allow incidents like what has happened to the church musician in Region 1 to continue. We cannot allow what has happened to Melly Mel or myself or you or Ivor Tom to continue. This is racism. The PPP government is racist. They try to sugarcoat it. They're racist. If they weren't racist, they would have condemned what happened to the church. They would have condemned at the highest level, the president, vice president, attorney general, all of them would have condemned it, but they condone it. They condone it. And we have to start speaking out. Forget about the fact that the police is going to come to you. The police can't come to everybody. If everybody stands up, if all 780-something thousand people in Guyana, or at least those opposed to PPP, stand up, we will have change. We will have instant change like what happened when George Floyd was killed. Instant change. We have to have people standing up for what is right. Stand up. When you stand up, you demonstrate you have integrity, you have credibility, and you have human dignity and self-respect. So I look forward to the people of Guyana shifting the paradigm, starting a new course of accountability, demanding accountability from this government. We're heading into another elections. Are you going to allow this government to just spend all the oil money, kill out the people, consult everybody, practice racism, racist policies, implement ethnic supremacy, and you still stay silent? No, that's unacceptable. So we want everybody to stand up and let their voices be heard.
Thank you so much, Rickford. Looking forward for that event tomorrow morning right there. Lots of you in Brooklyn have promised that you're going to be out there. Francine Cruz, the whole crew are going to be out there. Dennis Atwell, well, he got a peep. But once you guys are available tomorrow morning, 6 o'clock, go out there, 6 o'clock. Let them know that things are not hunky-dory in Guyana. But one of the things that I will be doing, I'll be watching at the businesses that he is going to be visiting, and they will open their doors again. I hope not. But we'll be watching at those businesses. I wonder who's the pastor that will be praying over breakfast. Anyways, let me leave that. Pastor. We should have our own pastor outside praying outside.
We just might. Stay tuned tomorrow and see. Tune in tomorrow. Come down to Church Avenue tomorrow and we'll see.
Church Avenue.
Thanks for having me, Mark. Good night, everybody.
Thank you, Rickford. Appreciate it. Rickford Burke there for you guys. Tomorrow morning, I want to see who's the pastor going to be praying tomorrow at this so-called breakfast with Irfan, right? You should have your pastor outside and pandits outside and Meiji and so forth outside to pray, because inside it's the wrong move. And those people who have invited Irfan Ali to Brooklyn, they just want to prove that they are wrong and strong, but they're not wrong and strong. No, it's not going to happen. Not at all. They're not going to play wrong and strong. They're not going to disrespect Brooklyn. And that is what they have done again. So they want to prove a point that they could invite Irfan Ali into Brooklyn to put roti in a bowl or whatever, a bottle, and shake roti, and then disrespect the people of Brooklyn and say, "Shake it, baby, shake it. Shake it, baby, shake it. Shake it." The people will be shaking it outside tomorrow, 6 a.m., 6 o'clock in the morning. You guys have got to be out there. And keep an eye on which other business or businesses that you'll be going, and there will be a fresh round of boycott. Fresh round of boycott. I say nothing else. We will be carrying it live right here on 107.1 FM. See you guys tomorrow. We'll be back right here. And we're getting some news that that guy Dotson, that young man, the Wash Bay guy and so forth, he received a lawyer's letter and all manner of things, but we will be talking about that tomorrow. We will be talking about that tomorrow and lots of other things. All right, in the meantime, have a wonderful rest of the night and continue to pray for Guyana. Not looking good under the PPP regime. Continue to pray for the people of Linden. Not looking good under the racist PPP regime, the corrupt PPP regime. Look at what the people of Linden are going through right now. Just take a look. An Irfan Ali is allowed in Brooklyn? Shame on those organizers or so-called organizers. Shame on them. This time, it's not going to be easy for Clapping Road.
If you don't want your because we're excited to see you here. You're coming. Hold on. You got the roti? You got to be kidding me. You make it roti, don't worry. You used to make roti when he was 5. But let me see if he could clap. You got.
Let me see if he can clap. Meanwhile, this is what is happening. Shame on the PPP regime, shame on Irfan Ali, and shame on those people who are hosting him tomorrow at that breakfast. For those of you who are going to be out there, 6 o'clock in the morning, just go out there, wear something black, walk with a black flag or something. Guyana is mourning the loss of democracy under the corrupt PPP regime. I'm out of here. God bless you all. See ya.
Yeah, my name is Jacinty Caldata Francis Vietnam, and since 1965 I become a voter, and I always place my X next to the cup, and what they are doing today, I can't take it. So I have no more vote to give to PPP anymore. I'm not going to vote anymore no more. If they have to lose by 1 vote, they're losing it by data.
I can't take it no more. I can't take it no more. Can't take it no more. Imagine 18 hours of blackout, and you're telling people progress. Cost of living gone up 100%, yet you give public servant less. Mr. President, listen to the people. Search your soul and you will confess. I want you try surviving on the public base, then you're gonna know but stress. Cause I done fed up, you done fed up, he done fed up, she done fed up, we done fed up, the people fed up. You're hiding corruption inside the cup, look how evil set up. The people fed up.
There and fabricate that. Unless you say who the person is, I can't comment on anonymous people.
Okay, well, let's talk about specific individuals. What is your relationship with Mr. Su Jurong?
Su? Oh, Su.
How old are you?
I'm 28, sir.
And where do you live?
In Kitty.
You own your own home?
Not as yet.
Applied for a house lot?
Not yet.
Well, sit down. You're not participating on the enhancement of your own life.
Oh, Jesus Christ, if cost of living double, I don't know what happened. A pound of sugar is $300 already. Flour, everything gone up. Everything just raising. You gotta get about $40,000 for buy good ration. You gotta get 3 man now. A weekend man, a monthly man, and a fortnight man.